Troxillo, Milligan, Martino,
Here.
Robert,
Here.
Seeger,
Here.
Gaines,
Here.
Narcisse,
Here.
Arsamont,
Here.
Daughtery, Walker,
Here.
Barrios,
Here.
Blanchard.
Here.
Commissioner, we have a quorum.
Appoint the alternates to serve on the commission.
Okay.
We'll call the meeting to order. Announcements, please silence all phones and electronic devices. Appeals, if tonight your agenda item does not go the way that you wish, you have the right to appeal to the parish council. If you wish to speak on a particular agenda item that's not your item, we ask you to pick up a speaker card on my right. Fill that out prior to that item coming up. Public speaking will be 5 minutes each side, 3 minutes additional time for comments and rebuttal. After your case is heard, you're welcome to exit the building. Just please do so quietly. Please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. We thank you for the beauty and glory of this day. Lord, please let's remember Robert Troncosko's family as they're mourning his death. Let us also remember Commissioner Dave Doherty, a servant faithful to St. Tammany Parish for over 40 years. Lord, let us remember to give thanks for everything that we do, especially this time of year when we have volunteers, especially Toys for Tots, to bring joy into children's hearts that may not be able to afford it otherwise. We want to remember the parish employees and their families. Lord, let this world be a better place for our having been in it and served on this council. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone should have a copy of the minutes in their packet. I need a motion to approve the minutes. Commissioner Arsamont.
I move that we approve the minutes as presented.
Okay, motion to approve the minutes. Commissioner Narcisse.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Please vote.
Motion to approve minutes carries.
Okay, staff, do we have any postponement of cases? Hit your mic.
No, we do not have any requests.
Okay. At the chair's discretion, we're going to move agenda item number 8 to the top of the list. This is the amendments to the official parish zoning and unified development code. With no objection, we'll move that to the front.
Item number.
Please,
Item number 8, 2025-4445 ZC, purpose. Amendments to the official parish zoning map and unified development code in accordance with Central St. Tammany Overlay District Study, which includes an analysis of the existing zoning, land use, and development patterns in Districts 6, 7, 9, and 11, Wards 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 of the St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana.
Mr. Ross.
Ross Liner, Director of Planning and Development. So tonight we're going to have a presentation for the commission, and it's a presentation only. We're not looking for any kind of vote. We can have a Q&A at the commission's discretion. So the purpose of this project is to look at 3241. It's a 20-mile new roadway facility in central St. Tammany, and we expect to have development come sooner or later, but we know it's going to come at some point. So to get ahead of what potentially is coming, we wanted to put some more regulations in place to better plan and execute developments. So we hired a consultant team, AECOM. Derek and Jeffrey are here tonight. Aaron Cook with the Planning and Development Department will be giving a presentation. So we ask that we go through that, have quick Q&A, and we'll move on, and we'll see y'all in a couple months to go over it again. We had a public meeting a couple weeks ago, got some really good public input, got some emails, comments, and we'll be sharing those with the commission. We're going to be taking those under advisement, but right now we'll give you a presentation about where we are and where we're headed. I do recognize a few people from the public meeting tonight. So again, it's a good opportunity to listen to see what the public has to say, and let's try and get it right for St. Tammany Parish. And with that, I'll turn it over to Aaron Cook.
Good evening, y'all. For the record, my name is Aaron Cook. I'm the senior planner for the Department of Planning and Development. Would y'all mind to put this on the screen? The PowerPoint?
Oh, the PowerPoint, I'm sorry.
Just to get started, tonight we'd like to talk about the development of LA 3241. As Ross said, it's a 20-mile stretch from Bush through Tallahassee into the Lacombe area in the 434, and how the planning department proposes to deal with the assumed development pressures in the inception of this road. So a little background on the highway. It was initially thought about and funded through the Louisiana Transportation Infrastructure Model for Economic Development Program. That's a mouthful. And that program is no longer around. The actual road itself was broken down into 3 segments and received several bouts of funding over the past years. The reason for those segments are due to the funding issues. So segment 1 runs from the intersection of 434 through I-12 and up to 36. Segment 2, as you can see in the blue there, is from 36 to 435. And segment 3, as you can see in the green, is from 435 to 41. Segments 2 and 3 have already been opened and are complete, and segment 1 is not yet under construction. The road is about 20 miles long, and the purpose of it was to create a direct north-south road through the central St. Tammany, which would alleviate traffic pressures with industry freight and separation of typical traffic, hurricane evacuation capacity, and to support commercial movement along that route. So an important thing to know about this road before we get into all the regulations is the road itself is control of access. And what that means is you cannot have curb cuts unless you're in designated portions of the road that allow for curb cuts. As you can see in the red here on the screen, those designated portions have already been laid out by a COA agreement, and DOTD basically says that you can connect in Bush and Tallahassee and at the junction of 434 in Lacombe. There are strict standards where you connect to this roadway, and that you have to be spaced 200 feet apart from an existing or another proposed curb cut. The reason that this came about is the proliferation of wetlands in the majority of this area. So if you look primarily in the central portion of 3241, most of all that is wet. So we're dealing with a lot of different development patterns and different environmental nuances along this roadway. As I said, DOTD broke the road down due to financing over the years, and we broke the road down into 3 segments while we were analyzing it due to different development patterns and different nuances. So if you can take a look at the map, the blue portion is the corridor enhancement sub-area, which is basically Lacombe or segment 1. The green is the environmentally sensitive area, what we're calling it, which is mostly in between the 2 proposed town centers, which if you look at the red is the proposed town center in Bush, and the yellow is the proposed town center in Tallahassee. Just to take a second to talk about how big these areas are, the corridor enhancement sub-area is 11.26 miles. That's mostly already developed commercial and industrial corridor around the Tammany area. The environmentally sensitive sub-area is 14.58 miles, so that's our biggest sub-area and our largest proposed to be protected sub-area. The town center in Tallahassee is 2.54 miles, and the town center in Bush is 1.78 miles. Getting into the regulations, you'll see different regulations in all three of these sub-areas, but these are the regulations which would apply to all development, all commercial development, industrial development throughout the corridor. We are proposing a prohibition of small box variety stores within a 2-mile radius of any other small box variety store, and also for those type of stores to be prohibited within the town center. We are proposing special design standards, which would deal with things like building materials, entrance orientation, window transparency, facade articulation. The reason for these proposals is basically to make buildings more pedestrian friendly and more friendly for business, to kind of create that atmosphere along the existing corridors and the proposed corridors where you see commercial development, and essentially change the way that commercial development looks. Landscaping and signs, we're proposing parking lot screening to be applicable throughout the corridor, and an allowance to cut and replace the street buffer. This is a big one. Most of all commercial and industrial development since the inception of the new Unified Development Code has been able to cut and replace side and rear buffers, but they'd have to maintain the street buffer. So this one would allow them to cut and replace the street buffer as well. We're seeing a lot of new development, especially industrial development, where they're having trouble getting back to grade in the street buffer. So we're considering trying this out here, and if it works, maybe moving it forward. Billboards are prohibited within the environmentally sensitive sub-area, and there are additional, more strict billboard requirements from what you see throughout. There are infrastructure requirements, so any new development would have to be able to connect or provide central water and sewer system. And the planning director and director of engineering can require servitude preservation if improvements are located within adopted plans. This is just like your multimodal transportation plan that we just adopted. So kind of getting down into the three sub-areas and what those regulations look like. The corridor enhancement area, its purpose is to encourage site layout and thoughtful landscaping that create pedestrian-friendly environments and streetscape integration, enhance urban corridor quality through cohesive design and elevated standards to support the local economy and attract investment, ensure high-quality design and functionality using enhanced building standards, materials, and focus on visual appeal. So, I mean, what does that mean? Pedestrian and friendly environment, attractive building standards that help clean up what basically right now is the Lacombe area in 434 and 190. It would apply to any new development or substantial redevelopment and reuse. And what we're proposing is a minimum 25-foot setback, but a maximum 71-foot build-to setback, which is essentially going to push the buildings forward towards the street to create more of a pedestrian-friendly environment and a nicer streetscape. No more than 2 rows of parking in the front, so we're trying to get away from having parking be the first thing you see when you drive down these main corridors. Sidewalks required along the frontage with internal pedestrian circulation plans, so again, more pedestrian friendly. And smaller signage, no internal illumination for signs, which is kind of like what you see along Highway 21 right now. And side and rear setbacks 10 foot, and maximum stories is 2-story. So again, just trying to make that area nicer, essentially more pedestrian friendly. The environmentally sensitive sub-area. So the purpose of this is to preserve scenic buffers and promote low-impact development, balance the limited development within the corridor through standards that prioritize environmental stewardship and scenic protection, and ensure development is low impact and thoughtful, minimizing adverse impacts in the existing landscape. So really, we're trying to conserve all those wetlands while still being mindful of the development pressures that the road is going to create, and establishing some pretty strict regulations through the use of conservation subdivisions if they're going to be developed in this area. This environmentally sensitive sub-area has the only regulation which would be applicable to single-family residential development, and that is a 50-foot scenic corridor buffer along 3241. That would be a no-cut buffer. We're trying to maintain the integrity of the buffer along the highway. Other regulations within this sub-area include the conservation subdivision is required, with an exception if you can prove that you don't have critical drainage, area of special concern, your property's not in a flood zone, it doesn't have wetlands, you can develop as a usual subdivision would. But if not, then you need to use the conservation subdivision standards, which are established in the draft ordinance that you read, and basically require cluster development. So no more than 15 homes clustered together. 40% of the area itself has to be preserved and not developed, and basically low amounts of infrastructure. It also allows for garden homes in this area. So one thing I want to emphasize before we move on is the underlying zoning for these individual lots is not changing throughout any part of this proposed corridor. These regulations would apply to any new development for residential, major subdivisions, commercial, or an industrial, but we are not proposing to change the underlying zoning. So property owners maintain their rights that they traditionally have outside of this 50-foot scenic corridor buffer along the highway. Lastly, we'll touch on the town center subareas. So again, we're proposing two. One is in Bush, and it's 1.78 miles. One is in Tallahassee, and it's 2.54 miles. The main reason for this is the highway redirects the majority of traffic along these predetermined routes that were established by the COA agreement. So we understand that there's going to be an influx of cars on this highway, and there are specific points where they can get off and on, and likely that will lead to pretty heavy development pressures outside of what these areas traditionally see. So we believe that you can develop this incrementally through zoning changes that would come before this board and ultimately the parish council, or we can choose to adopt a plan that would develop cohesively. In this plan in the town center sub-area, again, we're not proposing underlying zoning changes for individual lots. What we are proposing is a development plan that a developer or landowner could come to you all for oversight and say you need at least 30 acres and give a general development plan proposal. You all would have oversight over that proposal under these regulations and guidelines, and you also would have authority to have them change the regulations and guidelines to an extent. The uses are established within the town center sub-area, and essentially it allows for all commercial uses listed in the Unified Development Code outside of HC4, and eliminates outdoor storage, any car-centric uses like car lots, auto mechanic yard, tow yards, things like that. The list is in the proposed UDC text change. New commercial design standards are established that would effectively create a town center sub-area. When we say this, we're thinking of areas like Terabella, we're thinking of areas like downtown Covington. So we're trying to push buildings forward. We're trying to establish pedestrian corridors. We're trying to get pedestrian scale landscaping. So the removal of the requirement for Class A trees, you still have the requirements, but more pedestrian scale, more pedestrian oriented is what we're trying to obtain. The big one here is underground utilities would be required. So you're not going to see electric transmission lines and things like that running along the side of the road. Parking would be prohibited between the building and the street, and sidewalks would be required. So those are the regulations that we're proposing in the Bush and Tallahassee sub-areas. The building types would not be dictated by the underlying zoning. They're built into this proposed code in that you could have townhomes, single-story commercial buildings, apartment buildings, mixed-use buildings, civic buildings, and 1- and 2-family residential. You'd see in the draft code provided to you that the minimum lot size for 1-family residential would be 50 by 100. So I ran some calculations because I assume we're talking about density a lot these days. And what that looks like at a gross level is 6 units per acre. At a net level, you're looking at 3.5 units per acre. So you're in between, at a net level, the old A3 and old A4, and at a gross level, the old A4A. That's what we're proposing.
That's because of the green space requirement of 40%?
Yes, sir. And the net level accounts for a 25% reduction for infrastructure. So again, this was our inspiration for the town center sub-areas. You have Tarabella, which is, we all know, it's homes, shops, businesses, schools, parks, and civic services within walking distance. Tammany, which is obviously anchored by the North Shore Technical Community College and includes high, medium, and low-density residential. And the Covington Business District, which has buildings located near the front lot line, sidewalks, landscaping, which is to pedestrian scale, and pedestrian-friendly mixed-use development. The planning department mailed out physical letters to every property owner within this proposed overlay. The letter included a QR code, which brought you to a website for the project, explained in detail everything I'm talking about today, as well as has a proposed draft ordinance. We then had a roundtable session, which invited those property owners to the council chambers to talk about what we're proposing, how it might affect their individual properties, and get suggestions directly from the residents. We set up a direct email to take on individual questions, comments, and share information. And the majority of what we heard here is listed under the revisions. So we hear that the environmentally sensitive subarea is probably a little too big. When we set it out, it's 1 mile from the center line of 3241 going east and west. And if you look at it, it picked up large tracts of lands, which ultimately expanded the study area. So we'd like to take a look at that and perhaps make it so that it only applies to a portion of property which is mapped within the Central St. Tammany overlay. The second thing we heard is that the corridor enhancement sub-area should stop at the southern leg of the proposed roundabout on 434, and the environmentally sensitive overlay should then pick up after that. And we're taking a look at that. And then the third thing we heard, which was the biggest comment, and I believe you all got these emails as well, but I'm going to circulate them while I'm talking about this. To Commissioner Martino, and he'll pass them down. Is that we heard an overwhelming preference for a decrease in intensity and uses and density within the proposed town centers. We hear that, we understand that, we're working towards what that means and what that looks like to make development viable for developers so that we don't end up with these individual tracks and individual decision-making on zoning changes. You have to offer the developers carrots and sticks at the same time. So we're running the numbers and we're going to take a look at that, but we hear it and we're looking into it. And as such, we're requesting a postponement for 2 months until February to kind of look at these again and go over them in detail. We did receive one overwhelming amount of support for green infrastructure and larger lot sizes, obviously. I want to talk one more time about the reason behind these town centers. The traffic projections for the entirety of 3241 are not available. What DOTD has released is segment 2, which projects 3,000 new cars on the road daily. You can assume that where segment 1 is developed and its confluence with 36 and I-12, that's a lot of traffic that's going to be using those roads once it gets fully developed. We're trying as a planning department to take a proactive step and understand that development pressures are coming due to the creation of this road. We did not choose to build this road, but we understand that it's being built and we have to do something about it. So that's what we're trying to do now. The design for the control of access is ultimately going to funnel traffic to those designated points, and that's where we are proposing the town center overlay. Again, we hear that it may be too dense and the uses may be too intense, and we're definitely going to look at that. And that is it. That's it.
So I have one card. Thank you. I have one card for someone who wishes to speak. Mr. Carlo Hernandez.
Thank you. I'm not going to speak on some of the things that I let's just say that I will write in some of my comments, but just a couple of things that I want to note, and I'm wondering if I misunderstood what was included in the online information, and that is appeals to the council. Right now, the zoning commission, when it's appealed, it takes 8 votes. It takes a majority of the council to overturn an action by the commission. And if it's a planning issue, it takes 2/3 of the total parish council number, which is 14. It's interesting what it says here, and I'm wondering if I just read it correctly or what. It says, the parish council shall have the exclusive right to overturn the Planning and Zoning Commission decision by a majority vote. So that means that it takes what? It takes a majority? That not what presently exists right now. And I'm wondering if that is, if I read that correctly or what, and I'm curious about that. The other couple of things is, this 70% max. It's right now it's 50% max that you can have in coverage in a lot. But right now there are sections in here that says that you can have up to 70% of the area covered. So I'm curious about that, and I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to be looked at or not, and just something to consider. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Kim Babin. Barbin, sorry.
That's good. Close enough. I'm going to be real short. I commend planning and zoning for bringing this up.
Step forward a little bit more. Just get to
get ahead of what's going to happen at some point, particularly more so once that third leg is done. And in listening to Ms. Aaron's comments, the presentation was well put together and stuff. And there was a lot of stakeholder engagement on people who owned property along that stretch. There was not much engagement for people who live in the area, like myself. And I tried to get information on this project once I got wind of it on Facebook, of all places, and was basically, the comment back was, well, where do you live? And I said, well, that's reasonable, because maybe I don't live in the area, because I was interested in the bush part of it. Long story short, I did not get any information. I then was able to get about 61 pages of information from a neighbor. I would encourage going forward, and really this, in my mind, would be done all the time, to get engagement, to expand the stakeholder engagement arena to, it's not just the people who own the property, it's the people who live in the area, people who go to school, the people who drive the roads, who have businesses in the area, and et cetera, and maybe get some input from them. I saw some things on the slides I actually liked. I was kind of pleasantly surprised. There were some things I was concerned about, which it sounds like the property owners were as well, so I'm not as worried as I was now that I have a little information. If I had gotten some information, I wouldn't be here tonight. But since I didn't, I figured I'd show up and try to find out what's going on. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor or against, or just comment?
I mean, look, we had some really good engagement for the public meeting, so we have a few.
Mr. Liner, could you approach the microphone if you want to talk, sir? No. I'm just kidding.
I guess I'll just, I sent an email to you and.
Could you state your name for us?
Tracy Roush.
Thank you.
I live in Bush. I don't live in the town center, but I live probably, you could throw a rock probably to my house from there. So I think our main concern is making sure to, let's see, that the direction of the study reflects the reasons residents moved to Bush. We moved there to get away from the city. crime, all that sort of stuff. We don't want to see that come there, concern for the environmentally sensitive area is that it still allows for we would like to see something more like a Grand Hills, Whippoorwill type developments where it keeps that rural feel of the larger acreage lots and homes.
I want to make a comment just on what you just said. It's me. I believe, Ms. Aaron, I want to make sure that at that point, I want to clarify it from my own mind as well. She wants the rural feel, but your development plan talks about clustering homes together in like 15 units, and you're going to mandate green space in between them, correct? Yes. Is that kind of what y'all were going for to try to keep the rural?
This would be similar to Alexander Ridge.
And protect the sensitive areas.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, did you have another comment about that?
No, I was just saying,
okay.
That's what you're describing
yes.
as like Alexander Ridge.
Okay.
Off of Lee Road, off of Stafford.
Okay.
So, and I appreciate them taking our feedback from the other meeting, because we understand that development will eventually come to the area, and we support guidelines that will ensure that growth occurs responsibly. What we don't support is reshaping our town into something we don't want, something my family deliberately moved away from, and more to a vision that feels more like an attempt to urbanize Bush, and I feel like that's something we want to make sure doesn't happen. And also, we have concerns about just the environmental and quality of life impacts. The recent construction of the highway has already impacted. We can see the impacts of wildlife. It's pushed coyotes directly behind our houses through the residential areas because of all the trees that it took down. That used to be their path. So, and also noise pollution. I live right across the street from the new highway, so it is, I'm sure it'll get even more noisier with them once it opens further up. So just, we want those sort of things to be taken into consideration.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Could you, yep, she got it.
If anybody else that was here for 3241 wants to come up, I mean, they're here at the meeting, so please come up and speak.
Please go ahead and run the meeting, Mr. Liner.
All right, 434.
I have to bring it back to the commission.
But it's part of the
so
study,
y'all
correct?
just be patient with me.
Come on up.
Everybody's got their finger on the button up here. You know, they're ready to talk.
Let's have public thought.
Yes. Yes, sir. State your name for me.
Chris Zinsky. Thank you all for letting me come up and speak. I just had a couple of questions and comments. So with the available retail space that's currently pretty close to, and I'm in the Lacombe area, I should have stated that, so I'm right just north of the interstate by Steve's RV. With the retail space that's currently available in relative close proximity, I question why we are going after developing even more commercial space when that commercial space wasn't proved to be economically inviable. So I've seen these kinds of developments. I've lived in multiple communities across the country, and I've seen the kind of development that's proposed here in town centers, city centers, and whatnot. And I can't say invariably, but often I've seen that they do not pan out as expected, and it becomes more commercial blight. And that's my concern here as well, is we're propagating more commercial blight across the parish and leaving parking lots where there was green space. So,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak? Okay, I'll bring it back to the commission. So before these other commissioners jump in, I'm going to ask a couple of comments. So, Mr. Liner, so we've had, there was a recent ordinance passed at the Parish Council regarding septic systems. Notice that in this plan, it requires central sewer and water. What is the plan for a regional sewer treatment plant to go along with all of this development?
So that's the trade-off. Density will bring infrastructure of utilities. If you don't have the density, then we'll be using the septic systems, the on-site treatment systems.
Do we have land set aside for a future regional sewer treatment plant?
We have, that would be through the Department of Utilities, but they do have a plan.
Okay. All right, I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Martino.
So, I'm going through some notes. I know we're not making big decisions. So Aaron, I guess Ross too.
She's more than welcome to come up.
So 2 mile radius for small box retail. When I look at the map, it looks like potentially one in the town center of Bush, maybe another one in the town center of Tallahassee.
So they're prohibited in the town centers.
But not within 2 miles of one another.
They are prohibited within 2 miles of one another and not allowed in the town centers.
Oh, not allowed.
Correct.
All right. Thank you for that clarity. The 2-story requirement, just making sure for me, 50 feet is the height or the width?
It's the height, and it's not that it's a requirement, it's the max that you can go is the 2 stories.
Perfect. I'm probably gonna give more time to other commissioners.
Okay.
That's good for now.
Commissioner Narcisse.
I just want to commend the staff for putting the time and effort in and meeting with the community and
Absolutely.
making sure that all of their concerns were addressed. This had the potential to be a bombshell and to have 80 to 100 people in the room, and y'all have addressed concerns and that it heartfelt, so I appreciate that.
We sent out over 400 letters to property owners. While we can't hit everybody, we know we hit the property owners, and we hit 400 plus actual physical mailed letters to them. I know we missed people. That's not our intention, but we did have, public meeting, we did have engagement, and I'm not going to bring something to the commission that it's just going to blow up.
Right.
So we're going to work daily, with property owners, with affected, constituents in the area to make sure that this is a benefit for everyone, and it works for St. Tammany Parish.
It was definitely done in the right mindset, so thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Arsalan.
Yeah, ditto on Commissioner Narcisse here, but the other question I had is, so the road was coming, the road's coming.
Yeah.
So what I appreciate is the fact that we're ahead of, we know it's coming, we know we got to control the development, we got to have some input on development, we got to get public input. So I appreciate all of that. The feedback that we're getting as commissioners from either emails that are being sent through the department, definitely a lot of people are really just kind of like, what's coming, oh my goodness, what's coming. So
that is the fear of what's coming.
Yes. And I think just the fact that if we continue to have these and continue to be available for the public, I think that's going to be an important thing. But I definitely love what's coming. I love what y'all have done already with it, the layouts, the plans. So I appreciate that.
Yep, and we'll continue working.
Yep.
Thank you, Commissioner Robert.
I just had a quick question. So I've driven this road several times. It's so nice, so luxurious and quiet.
If you're driving it, not necessarily if you live next to it.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I drive a minivan. I'm not loud.
I hear you.
Nice and quiet going down it. My question is, that being said, having driven it, it was coming from the interstate, from 59, and taking 36. How does this play into our multimodal transportation plan? Because I did not think about that until just now. And 36 is kind of a death trap, getting to 3241.
So, like we stated, the EIS on this, I don't know, took 10 years, who knows, and there are a lot of wetlands in the area. So that's why you have only, I believe, those 3 access points in a 20-mile stretch. And there will be no access unless you do an interchange modification justification report, if I got that acronym right, or that title. I didn't say the acronym, but I can't.
But are there plans to improve at the very least or widen 36 at all?
So there needs to be some improvements on our side and the state side as well, without a doubt, because that pressure with that traffic, because of this roadway, it's coming. It's not going to be good.
Yeah, okay. All right. Great job. I did have one other quick question. On the design standards for commercial structures. So I noticed that there are like prohibited materials, prohibited roof designs, so we don't wind up with a massive industrial metal building, you know, town of metal buildings. Thrilled about that. Are there any, how far do those design standards go as far as outside of town center? Is that across the entire corridor?
It is within the entire corridor, correct? Yes.
It is. Awesome. Okay, I'm good. Great job. This is going to be beautiful.
Thank you. Commissioner Seeger.
Ross, while you're here, are there any designated areas for future mass transportation planned?
No.
And thank you. And Ms. Aaron, I'm not sure if I heard you correctly about 50-foot lot sizes, or I got confused on something that you said about that. Could you enlighten me?
Sure, yeah. So we were talking about the underlying zoning of the parcels within the town centers not changing, but the design standards or the site and structure provisions for these particular development types would be written into the code. So for single family, the minimum lot size would be 50 by 100. So we're essentially reestablishing the old buildable lot of record standards within the town center itself.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Martino.
Last thing I just thought about, I see one of our fire chiefs in the room, and some things come to mind with potential development, putting a strain on Fire District 9 in Bush, Lacombe, I think it's Fire District 3, the potential for additional substations or other district buildings.
Absolutely. So was it Chief Whitehead? Is that his name? Yeah. So Chief Whitehead, I believe, is from the Bush area. Yes. Did come to our public meeting. He did express some concerns. He did express some positive remarks as well. But he gave us his expertise on where some new roadways should be, where some potential substations should be, and things like that. So he was at the meeting. It was good input.
Right. No, I just brought it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of knew the answer, but these are things that, again, we commend y'all for looking at the future of not just paving a road, but what's going to support the business and the residents. Yeah. So thank y'all.
To that point, if you wouldn't mind, I just want to tell you one thing. So our new major subdivision incentives basically allows a 15% reduction in lot area or width when you dedicate land to a public enterprise like a fire station, a police station. So in outside of the conservation subdivision sub area, anywhere that's developing a new major subdivision has to either use the LID standards in Chapter 900 infrastructure or the major subdivision incentives. They have to. So that'll be something that we can kind of push and guide and get the fire department on board early in the review of these plans to kind of head people in the right direction. And
actually, most developers, as they're coming in to talk about something new that's coming, like a subdivision that's of decent size, they're all, 99% of the time, they're very happy to donate some land for a public entity like that because it gets them some density calculation increases.
Right. No, it all goes into the big picture.
Yeah, like Aaron said, we try and do carrots and sticks.
Yep. I promise you that's it for me.
Thank you. Commissioner Robert?
And I promise this is it for me. I did want to get an answer to Mr. Carlo's question earlier regarding the council majority on overturning appeals for this.
So it just depends on how that vote goes. If it's a denial, then it requires a different vote. And if it's an approval to uphold and it's appeal to the council, then it's a different number of votes.
And that's it's the same as it is right now. There's no change from where it is right now. Okay.
Right. So if somebody appeals it, just depending on how the commission voted is depending on how council has to vote to overturn it or to concur with it.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. No more. Thanks.
Thank you.
Commission. Hold on.
Is that it?
We're not done.
All
Commissioner Barrios.
Is there a schedule for completion of segment 1?
There is.
Is it to public release?
It is, but I don't know what it is.
Right.
So the director of engineering would know, but to answer your question, yes, they do.
So I know the comment was there's nothing going, no construction hasn't started yet, but there's a lot of activity of clearing and,
You know, I'd be speaking out of turn, but I guarantee I can get you that answer before the night's over.
all right.
We
Just,
did as projected by the end of 26, but I believe they're probably behind schedule.
I was thinking the same thing, the end of 26, but I didn't want to say it, but I'll say it now. The end of next year. But I'll definitely confirm
All
with
right.
the Director of Engineering and let you know.
great, thank you.
We did approve the last month, we did approve the excavation for the pond to haul in all the dirt because it had direct access. So we know at the very least that that is already in works.
The end of 2026 was on my mind, but it changes
All
frequently.
right. And there'll be a roundabout at 36 and 3241?
Roundabout at 437, or 434, rather.
That definitely is.
Yes.
What's happening at 36 and
Where
3241?
it dead ends right
Probably
now.
exits.
I'm not sure.
Probably 2 exits. Probably just exits, yeah.
Or an overpass or something, yeah.
All right.
All right, good, thank you.
Yep. We'll get
Thank you.
plans.
Once again, just to say, as far as the commission, great job. This is an excellent plan that you guys have put together, and you put a lot of hard work in it. We really appreciate it.
Still working. We're going to get it even more right.
Thank you. We don't have any vote on this item tonight. My understanding is you said it's going to be in February. The last question, do you have any plans for an additional public meeting between now and then?
We're going to think about that. We're going to contact people that definitely were engaging with us, without a doubt.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much.
Since it was advertised.
No. Well, do you need to vote to postpone it? Yeah.
Okay, so staff has requested that this be postponed for 2 months. February. Commissioner Arsamont?
So moved.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Arsamont to postpone for 2 months. Commissioner Narcisse?
Second.
A motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion to postpone for 2 months carries.
Okay, moving on to item number 1 on the agenda. Hey, just for the public, thank you guys for sticking with us. The rest of this meeting should go by fairly quick. All except Mr. Shane's motions. You know, those will probably take a long time. So thank y'all for being patient with us. Item number 1. Mike, you.
2025-4410 ZC, existing zoning, large lot residential district, proposed zoning, industrial, light industrial and warehouse district, location parcel located on the north side of US Highway 190, east of North 29th Street, west of Nell Street, Lacombe, Ward 7, District 7, 0.218 acres, Arturo De Leon, owner De Leon and Sons LLC.
How you doing?
Staff, hold on 1 second. Staff, hit your mic.
As it was stated, this is a request to rezone a .21 acre parcel from what is currently zoned L1 large lot residential district to I1 light industrial district and warehouse district. And this parcel right now is abutting HC2 highway commercial district, as you can see on the map, and on the east side, what's on the corner of a street, but basically on the other side of the street, it's currently NC2. And you have a list of potential uses on the staff report.
Mr. Arturo?
How you doing? Yeah, we've been using this property since 2016 when we bought the initial parcel as basically a lay-down yard. We're masonry contractors. We work all around the metro area. And my brother, who's my partner, he lives in Lacombe. And just to have to go to our other yard at Bell Chase every day to pick up equipment or whatever was kind of untenable. So we bought this piece of property with the intention of having like a satellite yard there. And we've been using it since 2016 when we purchased it as that. And then in the process of buying the next parcel next to it, clearing it out, we got a notice that, for what we're here today for.
Okay.
So we're just looking to get it rezoned if possible.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Martino.
Seeing there's no proposed change in use, which is correct.
Yeah.
You're not changing any use that you're currently doing since 2016. And, just for what he stated, I have no issue. Make a motion to...
Mr. Chairman, may I just ask a question here? While they've been using this property since 2016, One of staff concern is the fact that, once it's rezoned, if it's approved by the council, obviously, the property will have to be brought up to standards, commercial standards, which will require them to provide 35-foot green space on all sides and 25-foot green space along Highway 190, which is going to considerably reduce the size of the property or the potential usable space of the property. Did I hear this correctly, that they're trying to acquire the property next door as well? So is it going to be combined, or maybe the petitioner can come back?
So we have, we initially bought the first parcel back in 2016, and then we bought the second parcel in 2023. With the deal was we're hoping to buy it to all the way to the little corner that can't think of the name of the street right there. I don't know if it's Neal or what is that street, or 29th, I can't remember, but then the corner that, but yeah, they're not big lots, and we plan to reach out to the, we've done work with the planners group in the past to get them to come up with a plan to bring it up to standards and see, what's the possible solutions for that as far as the usable space.
Okay, because I just wanted to bring to your attention that when you have a piece of property zoned industrial and it's abutting commercial or residential, you will have a 35-foot green space buffer all the way around.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was, proposed or something like that, but there's a possibility to maybe go to an HC2 highway commercial and then request a conditional use permit. I don't know if it's something that you would consider, or if you want to maybe suggest to postpone to see what the best zoning would be.
So the reason why you're suggesting that is because that would reduce the buffers around the area and give him more usable space?
Yes, as I said, I'm not against the I-1 in particular. This is not a personal issue in any way, shape, or form. It's mostly to make sure that there's going to be a possibility to develop the site and meet the requirements, and that it will not turn out to be just another request to go to the Board of Adjustments. Now, anyone has the right to go to the Board of Adjustments and request some variances, but we still want to minimize the potential for variances.
Do you understand what she's saying?
Yeah, so see which way works better for the land use
Yes, sir.
as is, yeah. I understand.
Are you good with that?
Yeah, I mean, I could, like I said, we were planning to work with the planners group to get a plan for it, and I mean, they have more experience with.
Okay, so if you're good with that, you have to request right now to amend your petition that's before us to HC2 with a conditional use, or does
So
he have to?
they will have to apply for a conditional use permit and come back in front of you.
So that's what we're saying.
Okay.
So maybe it,
Yeah. Well, let's see what he wants to do.
Maybe postpone, so we
Yeah.
can sit down and talk in the office.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's where I was going with this next is, it seems like maybe a postponement might be
That's
better.
fine.
So you might be to your benefit to
Okay.
get that straightened up.
Yeah, okay. So I just request a postponement right now as far as,
Yeah, you can do that.
okay, that's what I'll request a postponement then, so we can further study it.
1 month good?
Let's try to maybe go to January, and then we'll try to schedule something with you kind of quickly.
Okay.
And then if necessary, you can always request to postpone again next month.
Okay.
2 months?
No,
1 month?
1 month? Okay, yeah, okay. All right, so Commissioner Narcisse.
That was definitely what my concern was going to be, is that industrial and seeing what we could do to mitigate that and get it down. So I'm definitely in favor of the postponement to get a better plan, and that HC2 would be beautiful in that area, especially when you zone something industrial. It's industrial not just for your usage,
Yeah,
but in perpetuity, and it could get, so definitely I'll move to postpone for
1 month.
1 month.
Okay, a motion to postpone for 1 month. Commissioner Robert.
I'll second Commissioner Narcisse's, the motion to postpone. I have a question now. What kind of materials are you guys laying down in the yard?
So it's more of our equipment, like we have, our tractor, our scaffolding. There's some material, but not really, because usually it's materials supplied by our vendors who direct ship it to work sites, so.
How many vehicles do y'all have coming and going on a regular basis? I mean,
probably 1 or 2, that's it. I mean, none of the vehicles are stored there. It's just, like I said, we we have our main yard in Belchase, that our big yard. This is just like a satellite yard where my brother, that he lives in Lacombe, he used it to where he doesn't have to go to the South Shore,
Yeah.
get what he's got to get. So, but we keep most of our equipment all at our big yard in Belchase.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'd like to second.
Okay,
the
we have a motion to postpone in a second. Commissioner Arsamont, are you okay? Okay. Please vote.
Motion to postpone for 1 month carries.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Item number 2 on the agenda. Mike.
2025-4415 ZC existing zoning suburban residential district S2, proposed zoning HC1 highway commercial district, location parcel located on the north side of Coast Boulevard, west of Cass Street, and east of Bosworth Street, Slidell, Ward 8, District 12, 0.36 acres. Joseph E. Scott is the petitioner and owner.
The applicant is requesting to rezone .36 acres from S2 Suburban Residential District to HC1 Highway Commercial District. It was mentioned on the application form, which maybe the owner can confirm, it's to be developed with an office warehouse. Right next to it, the property was rezoned to industrial to be developed with an office warehouse as well. So across the street, you also have some HC2 and a lot of legal non-conforming buildings that are developed with a variety of commercial uses. So, and when time allows, please take a look at the attached zoning map.
Is Mr. Scott here? Petitioner's not in the audience? Okay, anybody in the audience wish to speak in favor? Anyone against? Bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Arsamont.
I moved to deny.
You make a motion to deny? Okay, motion to deny Commissioner Arsamont. Commissioner Robert.
Yeah, this is, with the exception of I-1, just to the west. I mean, this is like would be a literal island in a residential area. Everything across the street is commercial, but everything north of Coast Boulevard, with the exception of that one I-1 lot, is residential. So I would like to second Commissioner Arsamont's motion.
Okay, motion and a second to deny. Any further discussion? So just to reiterate on these, a vote in the yay will be to deny the proposal. Please vote.
Motion to deny carries.
Should show up.
Yep.
Item number 3 on the agenda.
Item number 3, 2025-4423 ZC, ML Low Multifamily Residential and CBF Community-Based Facility District, proposed zoning MH High Multifamily Residential District. Location parcel is located on the east side of Airport Road, north of T.J. Smith Senior Expressway, Slidell, Ward 9, District 11. Acreage is 22.96 acres. Petitioner Slidell Greenbrier 1 TIC LLC, Slidell Greenbrier 2 TIC LLC, Slidell Greenbrier 3 TIC LP. Owner, the same people.
Thank you. Staff?
This is a 22.96 acre parcel to be rezoned from low multifamily residential district to CBF1. And CBF1 to high multifamily residential district. As you can see on the aerial, portion of this property is already developed with an apartment complex. Just did a little bit of research before I came here, and this is currently 144 units on 8.97 acres. So the request is obviously to rezone that parcel as well as the one to the north to the south to be able to be developed with more apartments.
Mr. Shane?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Honorable Zoning Commission. Jeff Shane of the Jones Fussell Law Firm, P.O. Box 1810 in Covington. I represent the owners and petitioners, which are referred to as the Greenbrier Group. And we appreciate the opportunity to present this case to you this evening. By way of history, we have been working on a potential rezone of this tract for 3 or 4 years with Councilman Laughlin, and have explored various other zones that might be appropriate in this area. And we came to the collective conclusion that continued multifamily development might be the most appropriate use. I tell you that not to suggest that, what your findings should be this evening, but I want you to know that it's been a work in process with the councilman and with him getting feedback from the people that live in the area as to what they would be more likely to think of to be a good and compatible development. I think it's interesting that the property obviously has an existing development on it. For those of you that are familiar with it or have looked at it on Map Google, you'd be interested to know that the units that are currently there, 144 of them, have been theirs for 22 years. They're very handsome in my view, well maintained and kept. They enjoy 96.5% occupancy. The significance of that to me tells me that multifamily at that location has a history of working. It's been successful. It's also my observation that Airport Road is really some good infrastructure for that area. I'm not suggesting there aren't other land uses, whether it's apartments, subdivisions. We have some churches, a variety of uses on Airport Road. But interestingly, Airport Road is developed into a fine, wide, 3-lane road that seems to have good circulation, good movement, does not present risk as it relates to health and safety at critical times. We understand that the development of these tracts, if they are rezoned, will require us to meet all of the typical impact ordinances that you have, such as drainage, traffic, etc. So we understand that zoning would only be a first step and be a precursor. My client has had success at this location. He owns the tracts on each side of his development, and he's encouraged that the apartment market is strong, that he has great demand. He would like to build more units. Staff brings up good points as it relates to the potential density of the zone that we are seeking, and as I've tried to provide you in the handout, you'll have some idea of the number of units that we hope to build on the northerly 8.98 acre tract and also on what I'll refer to as the southerly 5.0 acre tract. In order to achieve those numbers, we need the MH zone. To exist with an ML or MM, we simply can't get to that zone. But I've also indicated to you that our proposed plan is only 64% of the aggregate gross density that code would suggest. Now, I don't know that you could get all of the units, as staff has commented in its report, that the arithmetic would allow, because I don't think you'd have enough area, quite frankly, to account for lot coverage, parking, buffers, etc. But the proposed density that we have at 64% is significantly less than what anyone could do if they tried to max out. The sister developments, if you will be similar in architecture, similar in style, 3-story units, combinations of 1 and 2 bedroom, have a clubhouse, recreation facility, the amenities that you would expect. These are market rate apartments, and they command good market rate rent, meaning that you have an active and thriving community. It's always interesting to me that some people have negative connotations about apartments, yet I seem to not only represent, but I see a lot of active and positive apartment projects in our parish. Very nice place for people who are starting in life, very nice place for people that are sometime on the back end of life, nice place for people that are in between, selling a home, building a home, don't want the hassle of cutting grass, etc. I'm only suggesting that I think this proposed use at this proposed location is compatible. We will take into account the impacts that need to be measured, and we hope that you see fit to make recommendation to the council to make the change this evening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Arsamont.
Yeah, well, first of all, very familiar with the property, very familiar with the whole area there, of course. I like the fact that, you know, sometimes people say affordable homes need to be low income. They don't. Affordable homes, affordable housing needs to be just about anything that's available for our public. So the other question, or the other comment I have is, you still got TJ Smith Highway. That's going to relieve any, you know, if you were worried about that. Also, that area needs a little bit of a retail boost in the way of people needing to come in there, the restaurants and the different things, if we're going to expand or develop that mall. So, you know, the more people, the better. So I move to approve, of course.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Arsamont. Commissioner Robert.
I don't know who is running this apartment complex, but I don't think I've ever seen an apartment complex with as stellar of reviews online as this place has. So they're doing something right. I don't have any issues with this. I mean, it's flood zone, CNX, no environmental impacts. It's already a proven winner in terms of location. I mean, 96% occupancy, my goodness. I'd like to second Commissioner Arsamont's motion.
Motion to second, Commissioner Robert. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Item number 4, 2025-4430 ZC, existing zoning E Estate Residential District and RES 1 Resilience Overlay, proposed zoning L1 Large Lot Residential District. Location parcel is located on the west side of CC Road, north of Dumas Road, Slidell, Ward 9, District 11. Acreage is 4.286 acres. Petitioner Marissa Cox and owner Ricky Cox and Regina Cox.
Staff.
Applicant is requesting to rezone 4.286 acres from the E Estate Residential District and the Resilience 1 overlay to a large lot residential with the Resilience overlay. Currently, this property is undeveloped.
Okay, just to clarify, because on my agenda here, it does not say the L1 is going to include the resilience overlay, so you're saying that it does?
It will include it.
Okay. Do we need to change anything?
No, it was just left off on the report.
Okay, just making sure it was advertised correctly and all that, okay. Okay, sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay. I am Marissa Cox, and my in-laws own the property, and we are just trying to buy 2 acres from them to build our home on. So just a 4-bedroom home.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Arsenault is quick.
Yes, I love Slidell being busy tonight, so I move to approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Arsamont, Commissioner Robert.
Oh, right after you again, Rennie. Ms. Cox, do you have a moment? Okay. I want to make sure you understand something. The resilience overlay that is on this property requires 3 feet of freeboard and pier and beam construction. That means that your home is going to have to be raised about 7 feet off the ground from the numbers that I ran. Looks like there's a base flood elevation on this property right now. Mm-hmm. It's not official, but it looks like it's I'm sorry, it is official. Looks like the lot is somewhere, oh my God, my fingers are so dry. BFE is 10, you've got to comply with 3 feet of freeboard, which puts the finished floor elevation at 13 feet. And the natural ground on this property averages around 6 to 6.5 feet. Mm-hmm. So I just want to make sure you understand that.
Yes, ma'am.
There's no getting out of pier and beam construction on this property.
Yes, ma'am. We were told that.
Okay. I just want to make sure y'all understood. It is more in line with the surrounding property sizes, so I'd like to second Commissioner Arsamont.
We have a second by Commissioner Robert. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Moving along.
Item number 5, 2025-4436 ZC. Existing zoning is R1 Rural Residential District, MHO Manufactured Housing Overlay, and the RO Rural Overlay. Proposed zoning L1 Large Lot Residential Overlay, MHO and RO. Location, parcel located on the south side of Willie Cemetery Road, west of Bollinger Road, Folsom, Ward 2, District 3. Acreage is 3 acres. Petitioner is Brittany Loop. Owner is Stephen Loop III.
Staff? Oh, hit your mic.
The applicant is requesting to rezone 3.0 acres from R1 Rural Residential District, Manufactured Housing Overlay, and a RO for a rural overlay to L1 Large Lot Residential District, Manufactured Housing Overlay, and a RO rural overlay. Parcel is located on the south side of Willie Cemetery Road, west of Bollinger Road, Folsom. The subject property is currently developed with the residential residence.
Ms. Loop?
Hi. So this is a family parcel of land, and the owner is looking to do an active donation of approximately 1.5 acres to be used as a primary residence where we would do a brick and mortar build.
Okay.
Property's been there nearly 100 years in my wife's family, and we have 3 acres there that we want to divide up, put my son in his new home, and so on, get them back to St. Tammany Parish. They're over in their meet right now, and we would like to have them be close by. I have Parkinson's, and I'd love to have them being able to be living somewhere near, and so on, as we will probably use some help in the near future, and so on. And so we are anxious that they wanted to be on our property. So
absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Seeger.
This has been in the family for a long time. I believe this is the 4th generation. I move to approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Seeger. Commissioner Robert.
Coach, you gave a lot to the parish too. We appreciate you. My honor to second that motion.
Absolutely. Okay, motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Item number 6, 2025-4439 ZC, existing zoning, R1 Rural Residential District and RO Rural Overlay. Proposed zoning, PF1 Public Facilities District and Rural Overlay. Location, parcel is located on the north side of LA Highway 1077, east of Boudreaux Road, west of Pine Drive, Folsom. Ward 2, District 3, acreage 3.81 acres. Petitioner Andrew Menheim, owner St. Tammany Parish Fire Protection District number 5.
Staff?
The applicant is requesting to rezone 3.81 acres from rural residential and rural overlay to PF1 Public Facilities District with the rural overlay. You may recall last month this particular site was on the agenda to combine the 2 parcels together into 1 parcel. There is an existing fire station on the property, and the request is to be able to rezone to Public Facilities District to be able to build a new fire station.
Thank you. Chief, you have anything to add? Tell Andrew I'm disappointed he didn't come here tonight.
Where's Andy? Both of us. I'm getting my money's worth out of it. So currently, that station was originally built as a temporary spot to house a fire truck back in the mid-90s so that we could increase the response area and decrease property insurance rates for the Willie Road area. As we grew, we identified the need to start putting staff out there, and they have been living in a FEMA trailer behind the existing station for years. It's been well way over our intended use. So we got capital outlay funding from the state, and we attempted to build behind, but since it's such a small lot and we have the tree requirements to meet, and just one issue after the next, and there's a huge oak tree in the back that we wanted to save, so we acquired the lot next door, and we're going to build just the living quarters. We're not going to change the existing station, but we're going to build a 1,200 square foot living quarters right next to it, and update the fascia for the whole thing so it looks nice and maintains the aesthetic of the surrounding properties. And we'll be able to use the remaining parts of that area as a nice wooded buffer and a training grounds to further help reduce the fire insurance rates in the area. So we're just making improvements and making the best spend on our dollar that we can get.
Absolutely. District 5 is in Folsom, right?
It is.
I thought so. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak? Ross, would you like to speak in favor?
When the chairman acts, I come up to the podium. I think this is a great use of public funds, and I support the decision of the commission.
Thank you very much.
Now you have to see if Aaron wants to speak.
Anyone opposed?
In opposition.
Aaron? Thank you very much. We'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Martino.
Yeah, Chief, thanks for your patience tonight. I know you're busy with everything. I move to approve.
Thank you. Motion to approve, Commissioner Martino. Commissioner Seeger.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Chief, if you could you fill out a speaker card when you're... Thanks. We have a motion and a second on the board. No further discussion. Please vote.
One's missing. One person's missing.
Somebody's missing.
Somebody's missing. Okay.
Check your voting
Got it.
machine. There we go.
Motion to approve carries.
Thank you, Chief.
Item number 7, 2025-44-43 ZC NC1 Neighborhood Commercial District Proposed Zoning PBC Planned Business Campus District located on the south side of West Oshner Boulevard, north of Interstate 12, Covington, Ward 1, District 1, acreage 23.97, petitioner James Fussell, Jeffrey D. Shane, and owner Summer Hill Holdings, LLC, Wayne Burris.
Staff?
If you notice on the zoning map, you can see that this 23.97 acre parcel is currently zoned NC1 Neighborhood Commercial Zoning District. It is requested to be rezoned to PBC. To the east, you have AML and also some PBC in close proximity. To the south is directly abutting I-12, and to the west, NC1. So, and you have a list of all the permitted uses under the PBC on your staff report.
Thank you. Last but not least, Mr. Shane.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good evening again. Jeff Shane of the Jones Fussell Law Firm, P.O. Box 1810 in Covington, and I represent the owner and petitioner in this matter, Summer Hill Holdings, LLC. Thankfully, I bring this case to you tonight after we have some good infrastructure in place. Years ago, zoning attempts for parcels in this area often met a watery grave because we did not have the necessary infrastructure to even consider what I consider to be comprehensive planned business uses in this area. So tonight, as you can see in looking at the vicinity map in your staff report, we have a parcel that's very strategically located abutting the interstate, but also having West Oshner Boulevard as frontage and providing just excellent transportation opportunities. My client does not have a specific plan of development in that we do not have a user per se or group of users, but he intends to develop the parcel probably into multiple tracts that will attract multiple uses. We understand that in doing that, we will have to purchase the necessary detention credits or either provide detention on site to take care of water. We understand that to the extent that our uses might require traffic impact analysis, we will perform that, knowing that if mitigation is needed at critical intersections, that those are matters that certainly have to be attended to. But I believe that if you look at not only the zoning in the area, but interestingly, the development that we have in that area, both on the ground and development that is currently under construction, this request for zoning is very compatible with what we see in that area and should make for continued, what I will just call commercial expansion between Highways 21 and 1077 on West Oshner Boulevard. The current zoning is, really inappropriate under the current conditions. It's not a fault. It's not a mistake that was made at the time the zoning was assigned. I assume it was during comprehensive. It's understandable that this was a tract sort of in the middle of nowhere that happened to abut the interstate. But if you look at NC1 and the uses in NC1, I think you would agree that they're really not appropriate at this location. I mean, NC1 limits your building size to 5,000 square feet, and this is a 24-acre tract, again, in a commercial corridor. So I think with those things having been said, I would ask you to recommend to the council the change of zoning to BBC. I'll remain at the podium hoping that neither Mr. Liner nor Aaron are going to step up in opposition, and that way if any of you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Thank you very much.
Very presumptuous.
Does anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Robert.
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, we've got PBC to the east. It makes sense. I did spend several hours today listening to that council meeting from 6 years ago that people wrote. We did get several emails from the public opposing this. And you're right, the infrastructure here is not what it was in 2019. So I would make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Robert. Commissioner Seeger.
I've been on this commission for quite a few years now, and this is the only development on Oshner Boulevard that I'm aware of that hasn't had a room full of opposition. So I congratulate you on doing your homework, and I second Commissioner Robert's.
We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Narcisse.
That was actually going to be my statement, is that we did receive a number of emails, but the room is empty. That you've done something to quell the fears, and we appreciate it.
Commissioner Arsamont.
Well, I just want to make sure, though, that we did receive those, and they were opposition, and we did take those in consideration before we did make our decision. So thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion to approve carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Liner.
I do have answers for Commissioner Barrios if you want me to read them.
Go ahead.
As promised, 3241 from the Director of Engineering. It seems like the bids were supposed to be in this year for segment 1 and be completed by the end of next year. However, the bids now are going to be due at the end of 2026, and the construction will be into 2027.
Yeah,
seems like AT&T has utilities out there that's going to take them a year to relocate. So that's that's the newest information, and like I said, it changes frequently, and I'll give you an update as I get them.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Adjourn.